Internet, this is Oleg and welcome to another tech video. Today I want to share with you the things which I did with my network equipment. Especially we introduced new PoE 24 Pro switch from Ubiquiti. We're gonna do quick unboxing on that. I'll show you what is inside the box. I also bought very nice rack which is from SKYRACKs, and they have different sizes. I got the one which is pretty small but about that height. Not the full-size rack, of course, but it's nicely fit all my network equipment, and I also put my NAS into it and get it UPS power. So in overall, it's become right now pretty neat and very solid setup. I used to have it all on the shelves, which is kind of okay, but in the long run, you want to make sure your network equipment is tight and it's fully organized and documented in case you need to update or change power cables or change network cables or stuff like that. I usually run it in Excel. I have a whole bunch of documentation on my network setup which is indicating what port is connected to what. But thanks to Ubiquiti, we got right now options to basically name the ports, and if you run the scanner application, it will show you what is connected on each of the ports. So this is what we're gonna discuss today: why to update, how to set it up, and also how to adopt it in UNIFI, which by time right now you probably know already. It's pretty straightforward and simple. But in general, right now the setup is very straightforward. I have 10 gigabit backbone right now with my primary core switch, and I have up 10 gigabit uplink to 24 PoE switch, which is very nice. And also that PoE is powering up some of my equipment because the switch which we got is pretty solid. It's got PoE plus with this AF with AT specification and also this BT specification, which can potentially fire up last 8 ports to the speeds of 2.5 gigabit per second, which is amazing. Well, I don't have those clients right now which are using 2.5 gigabit Ethernets, but in the future it's a very solid and very nice kind of design, in a way how the future it's becoming future-proof. Once we got these adapters updated, I have already a switch which would accommodate them. Anyway, let's go directly to the video. I'll show you how it's done, and I hope you like it as much as I do. Okay, so this is the unboxing and installation of UNIFI switch. This is 24 PoE Pro, which is gonna get 24 PoE ports and features also SFP Plus, which is connected to 10 gig. It's also got display here on the side, which will show you the scans, but this is just a gimmick. Don't pay much attention to that. But the good thing is it's got 8 gigabit RJ45 302.3 BT PoE++ ports, and also normal PoE plus, which is 16 gig, and 2 gig uplink, which is 10 gigabit SFP switch. Right, so we're gonna install it in the rack, and when it's gonna be ready, I will adopt it in UNIFI, and that would start the project for potential migration from everything which I have right now on Cisco into this switch. We'll use Cisco as well for now, but gradually we'll sunset that and relocate all my cables to be connected to this guy. So let's unbox that. So as you can see, the boxing got also like this small little box, which is this is where you got all the screws and all the mounting brackets and everything, right? So this is the screws, all right, mounting brackets, cable, and instructions. So let's look on the screws box. All right, so when you unload the screw box, this is what you're gonna get. So these are the mounting for the actual mounting brackets. If you wanna sit your switch on the table, like rubber pads on that. I have already those, as you can see from previous switch, and these are just the bolts to connect the plates. So these are the white ones because the switch is white, so it's gonna be looking very nice. I have two of those on each side. No, just one. All right, perfect. I'm gonna connect that. Then we have also the cable which is power cable and regular UNIFI how-to guide, and that's pretty much the rest of it. It's just a switch itself, and we're gonna install it in the SKYRACK rack which I got, and that's gonna be just the beginning of the project when I have all of this equipment, all the network ubiquity stuff, and this Cisco thing, Cisco 24 port switch got connected and relocated into this guy. So it's gonna be SKYRACKs, as you can see, SKYRACKs, and we're gonna get nicely repositioned, and all of that will go reallocated. So it's gonna be a big project, but hopefully it's gonna be exciting. I'm really excited to see how the whole thing will work, but once it's ready, it's gonna be nice. Alright, so the switch is up and running. I didn't connect anything yet, just an uplink, and you can see it's a white LED, so it's 10 gig. The information is shown up right now, so we can look on IP address. It's got received automatic IP address, there is some other info, but in general this is statistics, the throughput information, all the other stuff. So we're probably gonna go ahead right now to the UNIFI controller and just upgrade the firmware to the latest, and then we'll see how the things are going with the switch. And yeah, the connectivity is there. SFP is connected, Ethernet port 1 to 24, SFP plus port 25 to 26. I only connected one right now. I need more GBICs basically to connect to my 10 gig switch, but in general that's what it is. Alright, so let's go check that. Uplink port 25. There is some traffic going on, so I need to go ahead and unify right now and to just go ahead and add it, adopt it to existing infrastructure. Okay, so here we are in UNIFI controller. So as you can see, we have our new switch showed up. The IP address is assigned automatically. First thing first, we're gonna go ahead and do firmware update. That's what I usually do before I actually go ahead and adopt it. So we're gonna confirm. It's gonna pick up the latest firmware, and then we'll continue this adoption once the system is updated. So as you can see right now, it shows updating right there, and once that's complete, we'll go ahead and adopt that inside the UNIFI control. While update is going, right now it says the switch is restarting. So once it's restarted, it should be good to go. We will see it again in UNIFI, and then we'll go ahead and adopt it. Alright, so here we go again. You see right now the status is pending adoption. So what we're gonna do is just gonna click and say adopt. But I just go ahead and refresh my screen because it was still showing updating. But once it's gone into the refresh, it's changed status immediately to pending adoption. And now it says provisioning. The IP address is automatic, but I'm probably gonna change that to whatever I have predefined in my diagram. And once it's provisioning completed, we'll look on the initial settings on the switch, what's going on with the ports. As you can see, we're now at 564.8, the firmware, and now it is done. And let's go ahead and look on the settings. This is what we got. So let's make it bigger and move it aside a little bit, and here it is. So this is the only port that's connected right now, and as you can see, it's fiber connected, as you saw it on the physical presentation. When I put it in the rack, I put the fiber SFP 10 gig and I connected it to my 10 gig switch. On 10 gig switch, I'll have to go ahead and set here, it sets uplink USG 16XG. Right, so this is what the switch got detected, and the temperature is 30 degrees on the SFP. Port 25 SFP plus, that should be enough for now. I don't think I would need the second port, at least for now, not for this infrastructure anyway. But in general, it's very nice to get this thing over all these ports. They're PoE capable, and by default they're set to PoE. So as you can see right now, it's PoE status port 1. We can change that and profile override. It's basically set PoE plus by default. I can turn it off I probably will for some of the ports which are gonna just connect to normal devices, not PoE powered. But the rest of those will keep PoE going, and that will allow me to connect most of my cameras and stuff like that, reconnect them directly to this switch, and it will make this infrastructure slightly more like neater. Alright, so this is what it is in general. There are no clients obviously, right? So the details are just showing up. Nothing like that. Downlinks, uplinks, no downlinks right now. Uplinks is showed up as 10 gig full duplex. And on my 10 gig switch, I should see that as well. That would be on my XG. It shows right away downlink USW Pro 24 PoE, right? So, and its serial number and all the other things. As a separate switch connected. So this is what we have. And some of these guys which you see right now connected to my Cisco switch probably got reconnected to this guy, right? And that Cisco, this is managing the most of it right now, but it's not UNIFI, and Cisco is connected to uplink. This is what it is, 24 ports, right? To USG16 XG, and all of those devices, because they are not visible directly, we cannot talk to Cisco to see what it is and put it on the diagram correctly. These things basically shows up as connected to UX16 XG, but obviously they are not. From the dashboard perspective, as you can see, I'm a big fan of my dashboard. This is my current dashboard, which is not the one which is in the new firmware. We moved to the new firmware, but the good thing is it still allows me to maintain the old dashboard. The PoE counter is now 28. And only 2 are actively used, so we have a lot of room, and once that's gonna get reconnected, these numbers will change. But the good thing is it shows correctly right now, and this is where we're gonna stop, because I need right now go back and reconnect some of my devices, start using that switch. That's a lot of work there expected. I have to relocate some of my hardware from the shelves into the rack, and then once it's all connected, power it up, test it, and then we'll continue with this video. Alright, so this is intermittent step. As you can see, I moved my USG Pro router into the rack. I also used and moved my Rogers modem into the rack. I slightly adjusted the distances from the front panel to the actual mounting brackets, so I can easily put my fiber cable without bending it and close the door at the same time. It's actually on the back, it's moved pretty much everything to the corner on this thing because of the shelf. If I would not move that, then my shelf will not fit simply into this thing. So I'll have to go ahead and use that relocation thing and just for the shelving, because if shelf is not an option, or you don't plan to use shelves, then you can move this even further inside and then move some equipment backwards, meaning that it will face this side, but in that case it's going to be permanently closed. So pretty good for something like the power connections, but if you have front-end panels, then it's much easier to locate it so it all goes on the front like this. Okay, so this is the intermittent step, almost done. I have to still do proper cable management, as you can see, but I have connected everything in the rack. So the power moved to the top, and I have here is a place for patch panel eventually, which I'm not sure is going to happen or not, but I just left it here. The top is 24 PoE switch, then we have our USG router, and then X16 gig switch, which is 10 gigabit ports, all of those. And I put my Cisco back over here at the bottom for now. And of course we have our own Synology, which is main location for the VMware and everything. Right, and at the bottom I put dedicated UPS. Hopefully living on the side will not impact its performance. And of course I have my internet modem here. So that's it for now. I cannot install the door. As you can see, these cables, DAC cables, they're too short. They're going directly from this server over here. I ordered already
6 GBs, which is 10 gig, so I can change those and put the fiber cable instead.
Okay, so this is one of the finals. I got my transceivers, as you can see. I ordered 6 of them from eBay. I got my 2 cables, so now I'm just gonna disconnect one by one of these direct attached cables and change them to be fiber optic. And after that we can close this cabinet altogether, so this will not be required to sit here, and these cables will be used in the future for something else. Alright, so here's the final layout. So as you can see, the door is closed right now and all the cables are connected. They're all fiber optic right now for 10 gig. And everything else looking good. The temperature slightly come up because I closed all the doors, but other than that, looking pretty good. That's on the top right now. The cables are here and all the cables for Ethernet are coming in. That's my switch, which I connected right now to be power over IP connected and powered. So that's pretty much ready to go. All the systems connected, everything is good. I did check cables and did check connections on the VMware side, so everything is perfect. No drop links, no nothing. Alright guys, that's it for today's quick video. I hope you like it. Like I said, I'm enjoying right now that setup. The only thing which is probably missing on that nice rack is the LED setup, which is kind of obvious, but at the same time is not pretty critical because the system is running mostly unattended thanks to the fan system which I have installed. It's full automatic fan control and it's temperature control based on the thresholds which I set up. As you can see also, I'm still running my Cisco switch in the rack. That thing is there temporarily. Potentially we'll be decommissioning that soon and selling it off, because I want to basically switch completely to my new 24 PoE switch. At the same time, since I don't have too many ports which are connected through PoE, doesn't make much sense to use these ports which are PoE capable to run normal like Ethernet. That's why maybe I will still run Cisco for a while, but we'll see. Alright, so thank you for staying with me till the end of this video. If you made it to the end, I highly appreciate it. If you like this video, you know what to do. Normal YouTube stuff. Click share, click subscribe. Make sure your notification bells are on as well. And until next time, I'll see you very soon. Peace.